Hello and welcome back to another legendary episode of the one and only Speculation Alley. It's your boy Abomb here, and of course with me, as always, is my brother from another mother, CryptoDilly. What's going on, my man?
Doing good, man. I'm ready to get into some heavy metal action. A lot of
Let's
stuff
do it.
to unpack here.
Yeah, let's jump straight into it. I mean, we got some pretty basic rundowns here for everyone. It's going to be build, flex, fight, evolve. Let's jump straight into build. Get into it for us. What do we got?
Yeah, so I mean, it looks like the build mechanic is pretty straightforward. The way it looks is that we're going to have a plot of land essentially, or a forge, and then we are able to use energy to be able to build within the forge. And so in the example that is used in the flash video, the promo, it shows that it's using 38 energy to actually build. And so what I'm speculating is that it's going to be similar like a Farmville mechanic where we're actually given energy each day, and then with that energy, we basically have to strategically use that energy in different ways to kind of build the farm up. And then building your forge, once it's completely developed, we'll be able to do different things within the actual forge itself.
Yeah, that's interesting. I think that makes a lot of sense. It does have a lot of similar mechanics, it looks like, to Farmville, but then let's jump straight into Flex because it
Well,
seems like we're going to be able to go into other forges.
yeah, before we get into flex, I mean, one really interesting aspect of this is obviously everything's powered by ApeCoin, right? And so,
Oh, yes.
with this mechanic of energy being used, right, we're going to be able to, have energy for, let's say, one day. And if you get 100 energy and then you're only able to like build out 3 or 4 blocks or whatever that breaks down to, well, it would make sense that people could actually pay an ape coin to get more energy so that way they can build out their forge a lot quicker too. So I
Do you
think we're
think
going to see that ape coin spend mechanic right there.
that makes a lot of sense, and I like that speculation. Do you think we'll see like the knights and the? I'm sorry, I'm not like super well versed in all of the like categories of the heavy metals, but the rarest to the least rare. Do you think like the higher rare tiers are going to have more energy that they can like start off with, or is it going to be like a baseline for all heavy metals? Do you think?
That's a really good question. I kind of lean more towards the fact that like everything will not be like geared towards each tier having more of an advantage. I think that the advantage will come aesthetically. I think aesthetics will play a role, and then also the bot mechanics in the future and the actual like fight stage. So getting into the flex before we get to fight, though, it talks about how you can show off your forge to other players. And so what's interesting about this is it introduces another mechanic, which is the upvote or downvote mechanic. And so you build your forge. Once your forge is fully developed, then we're going to get into a voting stage where you can actually go and look at other people's land or forges and then decide if it's good or bad. And you're using energy again, right? So if you actually like, I hate A bomb, and I'm like, dude, I don't want this guy's forge to be, rewarded with anything. I could just spend a bunch of ape coin and just downvote the shit out of your forge.
Well, that's another question. Then I wonder how many votes you get, like how many times you can downvote or upvote Forge. Like if you like, you know what I mean, like how they can only allow a certain amount of mints per wallet. Do you think there'll be some sort of like cap on votes at all, like either up or down? Because I mean, geez, bro, I want my Forge to do okay.
Well, if we think about this game as stages, like if the first stage is where you build your forge, and then the second
Right.
stage we get into the flex stage, right? And so like imagine that you get 100 energy and you have to cycle through 10 forges each day, or that's the amount of energy that you're able to use. Then what's going to
Right.
happen is, let's say that that's a 5 day period that this takes place. You have to vote. You're either voting up or down on the forges that are actually presented to you, and it's like a roulette. It's random what's going to be presented, but at the end, like, we're going to have this leaderboard of who got put to the top and who kind of got shifted all the way to the bottom. So if you don't spend a lot of time in your forge and you don't build anything and you don't spend any ape money or ape coin, then it's obviously your forge is going to go down. Does that make That's kind of the way I'm thinking about it.
Yeah, no, that makes a lot of sense. What's interesting about this mechanic too is like they're bringing in a bigger like community aspect of this that I didn't really like speculate and seeing in this sort of game, I guess, because with Dookie Dash and whatnot, it was like, single player thing, like I'm grinding, but now you kind of do have to hope and like think about, okay, like aesthetics and as well as utility and how everything flows in this sort of landscape that you're building out here, so that people are like, yo, this is dope, I love it, and not like, okay, this sucks, essentially, which is sort
Well,
of an interesting thing.
and it's not like based on popularity. Like you may
Right.
not even know whose forge it is. But the
That's
other thing too that's super interesting about it is that it's changing the dynamic. Like Dookie Dash was very skill based in my opinion, where you
mhm.
had all these pro players coming in to play the game. This is a more casual game, the way that it's been presented. And I
Yeah.
think that's something that's really unique and a different twist to what Yuga is actually presenting with this. And so that leads us right into the fight mechanic, right? Where we actually, once the forge is built and you've built up your players, well, now we can engage in actually fighting each other. And we've seen in the lo-fi music by Yuga that we have the heavy metal arena in the background. So once we've actually developed our forge and we have our bots ready to go, are we going to see similar mechanics to like beep boop bots, where your bots have like a set amount of boost and defense and attack, and we're actually going to go into like this I guess bracketed system against each other? What do you think?
That, oh man, this just goes. This is where my mind explodes. I love the fighting. Okay, yeah. I mean, my mind goes back to the forge, and because I'm wondering, like, why are we voting on forges? And let's say, like, if I'm in a fight and I get my ass handed to me, then I'm going to need to repair myself and a forge, probably, right? And how much energy or however much time that takes, I don't know. That's to be speculated on, or I guess seen in the near future. But what's really interesting is like how we're going to choose to fight. Like, is it going to be similar to kind of this theory of with the forges where it's randomized, you don't know whose this is, pops up in front of your face, you vote yes or sucks, or no, it doesn't suck. But is it going to be something where like a random bracket breaks out and you're like, you fight this person and yada yada yada? Or is it going to be where I can actually choose to go fight somebody that I want? I'm very curious how that's all going to work.
Another really interesting maybe possibility with this is we know that there's a greater foe on the horizon, right? It says whatever the fuck this is in the actual trailer for this. So,
Yeah.
what if the heavy metal arena is actually not us fighting against each other to death, but more of a training camp where we actually fight against each other to build up our stats? So that way we're able to actually fight together against a greater enemy.
I like this. Makes a lot more sense. This kind of brings me back to that 10 KTF moment when we saw the kaiju versus mech, and we're like bloodbath, and then it wasn't that at all, right? And we're like, and then they had this Pixar ending where like the friendly cat destroyed the monster, and it was like and he didn't actually even destroy it, just like shrank it, so it was friendly now. Like that's the Pixar ending, and I think that what you just said makes a whole lot more sense for also the community to get behind this common goal and not know it yet, though. Almost be like competitive, but it's almost like Goku, you know what I mean? Like Dragon Ball Z, like his buddies fighting each other just to like push him to see how good they can actually be. Almost like that. I like that. That's cool.
Well, and then it's a perfect transition into the evolution stage, right? Because if you've actually went to fight and you've built up your stats, then the evolution from Evo 1 to Evo 2 and Evo 2 to Evo 3 actually makes sense with the progression of the story as well. So I think
Yeah.
that's kind of what we're going to see with heavy metal. I'm super stoked to really play the game, and I'm definitely going to be, Tamagotchi in this, where I'm like playing the game every single day. I'm hopping in and I'm, watering my flowers and I'm getting my farms ready, and the crops are going to be, abundant. So I'm super stoked. Any final thoughts on heavy metal and what you see or what you expect?
I mean, I want to know if Mongrel's playing. Mongrel, you going to be playing, bro? Hit us up in the comments and let us know, homie. We'll go head to head.
Well, yes. Mongrel, we got Orangey, we got the whole gang of Fortnite MLG players that are going to be playing heavy metal now. So get ready to sit back and casually game. But yeah, if you guys enjoyed this video, give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment below what your thoughts on heavy metal will be and how the speculation aligns with what your thoughts are. That being said, every single Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, we do a Twitter Spaces to break down this exact topic. So we hope that you join us. But that's it for this week, and we'll see you guys in the next episode. Peace.